Díagwit, it's Miss Joanna. Today we're going to make some soda bread. It's a really nice recipe. It has flour and sultanas and butter and some bicarbonate soda and some buttermilk, okay? It's really easy to make and I'm going to show you how I do it. And I'm going to put in some Irish words as well, okay? So hopefully you'll understand or recognise some of the words, okay? So here I'm going to put in the flour, okay? So this is the flour, this is soda bread flour. I'm going to weigh it out. So I need 500 grams of soda bread flour, okay? And then I'm going to sieve it in here. Just sieve it. It's a bit dusty now. Just to get rid of all the lumps, okay? Now, just wipe down, just clean down when you're cooking. Make sure you're nice and tidy. Then I'm going to use some bicarbonate soda, okay? So this will help it rise. So bicarbonate soda is used when we're using buttermilk, okay? So I'm going to use some butter as well. And in here I have, let me see, 70 grams of butter. So we're just going to put that in here, okay? And we're just going to give it just use your fingertips, okay? And rub it in like this. Okay, and what we're doing is we're getting the butter and the flour, and you want it to be a bit like breadcrumbs, okay? And you want to make sure all the butter is rubbed in. So if you just use your fingers, use the tips of your fingers like that, okay? And rub them together, and rub your thumb across your fingertips like this. See the way I'm doing it? And you're going to get all the flour and the butter all mixed in together, okay? And then it'll be, whenever you slice this bread and you take it out of the oven and slice it, it'll be nice and firm because it has the butter in it, okay? And I'm going to put sultanas in this today as well. So if you don't like sultanas, you can put raisins, or you don't have to put any fruit in if you don't want to, if you just want to leave it plain. But it is really nice with the sultanas, okay? So that's it done there, okay? It's nice and soft, and it's kind of like a little bit like breadcrumbs, and all the butter has disappeared, okay? Now I'm just going to give this another wipe. I'm going to use my spoon oak and give it a mix, okay? Now the next thing we're going to put in is some sucre, okay? So I'm putting in about 40 grams of sucre. Give that a good mix around like that, okay? And then I'm going to use enough and some banya, okay? And this is buttermilk. So this is this is banya okay? So it's buttermilk. So we'll crack the egg in there, and then I'm going to use a fork and give it a good mix. Okay, and then add some of the banya and mix it together, okay? Now in here I'm going to put a hole in the middle. I'm going to add in the sultanas. So in this we have 150 grams of sultanas, okay? And then just give it a good mix. So we have flour, butter, sugar, and sultanas and baking soda in here, okay? Now we're going to slowly add the buttermilk that's mixed with the egg, and we're going to add that slowly, okay? And give it a good stir. Now you want to make this into a dough, so you want to roll it out on your table, and you want it to be nice like Play-Doh, you know, you want to be able to hold it and it's not sticky. So keep adding your banya and your uv and give them a good mix. Now we might have to add more buttermilk as well. In the recipe it says 420 mils of buttermilk, okay? So we're just going to add the buttermilk slowly. Sometimes if you add all the buttermilk, what happens is it gets too sticky. So it depends on how thick your buttermilk is as well, okay? So we'll just keep mixing it slowly, because you don't want to add too much milk. Then what happens is your mix gets too sticky and you won't be able to make it into dough. It'll be too wet. So now this is nice, it's all coming together. So it's all coming together now, like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sprinkle some flour onto, I'm just going to clean this. So I'm just going to sprinkle the flour out, okay, onto the island, or if you're using a table or a board, sprinkle it out like that, okay? Now this is going to be like a soda bread cake, like a bit like a soda bread with fruit in it. Okay, so years ago they would have made these and they would have cooked them over an open fire because they didn't have ovens in those days. So this is an old-fashioned recipe, but we're going to do it on a tray and we're going to put it in an oven. And I have the oven's at 200 degrees, so it's nice and hot, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is just going to knead it for a few minutes, okay? Now kneading is when you bring everything together, so just sprinkle more flour onto it, okay? Now it's a little bit wet, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour. I'm going to roll it around in the flour, and I'm going to add a wee bit more flour just to make it stick together. So you want it to be nice and you don't want it too sticky, okay? So I'm just going to get rid of all this dough off my hands, roll it out like that, okay? Now, so we just flatten it out like that. You see how easy that was to make? It's very, very simple. So here I have a tray, okay? And I've cut out some greaseproof paper and I've cut it into a wee circle. I'm just going to sprinkle a wee bit of flour on it, okay? And then I'm going to lift this up really gently and put it in the middle, okay? Like that. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to make a cross. Just go down like that and make a cross down the middle of it and over this side, okay, and through the middle. So you have like an X through your soda bread, okay? Now, so I'm also going to use a little bit of, from the bowl that I had the egg in, I'm just going to use it to brush the top of it like this, okay? Just that gives it just a nice golden brown colour, okay? And then we're going to bake that in the oven for about 45 minutes. All right? And that's how easy it is. Okay, so now I'm going to put it in the oven. Now while the soda bread is in the oven, we'll just do a quick tidy up and we'll get all the dishes washed and tidy everything away, okay? Now, so that's it ready now. It took 45 minutes. Look how much it's doubled in size. It's really, really hot, so just be careful, okay? So what I'm going to do, I will tip it out onto this, okay? And then if you just tip it, knock, and you can hear a wee knocking, then you know it's ready, okay? So just be careful. I'm just going to turn it over again. And we let it sit there for a few minutes to cool down and have it with a nice glass of milk, and mummies and daddies can have a cup of tea with it. Okay, we'll be sending all the recipes to the Irish Club in Tobin, okay, at Lockshore Community Services. So you'll all get a copy of the recipe, and if you'd like to send me some photographs if you do make them, that would be brilliant. Okay, thanks very much for watching everyone. Bye.